In the previous video we explained that the energy for gravity comes from inertia. But energy alone is far from equal to force. As I said, force is created by movement, and only when the movement of the mass body is impeded. If a body has constant force, it must constantly move and be slowed down. So that a moving body does not come to a standstill due to braking, it must be constantly accelerated. To enable such a process, nature created a system, the sovereignty system. But how can such a system even come about? To explain this, we would like to carry out a thought experiment. Let's consider two bodies A and B moving in space independently of each other. Suppose they have no gravitations. That is, they cannot attract each other. If the two bodies accidentally collide with each other at an angle, two forces Φ and Fb arise, which repel each other. Every body reacts to these repelling forces with an inertial force at the moment when these forces act. With this inertia, every body remains in its state so that it is not rejected if possible. And the effect of this is that the two bodies are attracted to each other against repulsion. The two in turn react to this with the inertia of this mutual attraction. This creates an eternal process that changes back and forth. But the two bodies are freely moving bodies. And how is it even possible to remain in one state without a fixed point for a body to hold onto? It would be like someone falling out of a skyscraper and pulling their own hair to keep from falling. Now we must confront a mysterious phenomenon, the force acting at a distance. The most important property of inertia is that with inertia a body can remain in its state. There shouldn't be any doubt about that. In fact, the falling speed of the man who fell from a skyscraper is slowed down by inertia. In this case it is very small, but still. We have already explained in detail that the falling speed of a freely falling body is slowed down by inertia. If the rate of fall is so great that the inertia is as great as gravity, that rate cannot be increased much. This phenomenon, that a body with its inertia can remain in its state without a medium and without a stopping point, means nothing other than that inertia is capable of acting at a distance. We first assume that inertia is force acting at a distance. Then the two bodies attract each other by inertia, like gravity. Because this is an oblique impact, this will also cause them to rotate in the same direction. So they are attracted to each other and also rotate at the same time in the same direction. They are driven by mutually rotating inertial fields and run around each other. By driving each other, the two will rotate in the same plane and in the same direction by the Grarotation effect. Because they rotate in the same direction and thereby push each other upwards, the rotating gravitational fields come into conflict with each other. To avoid this, they will move to two orthogonal planes. Then they run around each other on these planes and then throw each other further away from each other. On the other hand, the forces of inertia arise, with which they continue to attract each other. If they could manage to achieve dynamic balance, they could walk around each other like this forever. Thus, two bodies that do not occupy gravitation could become a sovereignty system under the action of inertia. This is a possibility for the emergence of a sovereignty system, which should have been created by gravity. We don't really know what gravity is. We only notice that there is a force between the Earth and the Sun, for example, and called it gravity. Could this force actually be the force of inertia? In previous theory, for example, the Sun-Earth system is described as follows: the Earth attracts the Sun with its gravitation and at the same time with its centrifugal force, which is a component of inertia, pulls itself outwards. The two forces are equally strong. If a man with a rope pulls a chariot after him with a force, he himself must be pulled to the right by a force. The two forces are actually one and the same thing. Are gravity and inertia also one of the same force? In fact, these two forces arose from one and the same body. If any of these forces could have been spared, which ones? Gravity or centrifugal? However, this system cannot function without centrifugal. But it can without gravity. Actually, we don't know what gravity is, and we don't even know why it works at a distance. In this ignorance, we can't actually distinguish what really works in such a system, gravitation or inertia. It should be noted that inertia is not always the same as inertia. A body moving with velocity v only has kinetic energy. Namely, he also has inertia, but he cannot provide sustained power with this limited energy. It only occupies inertial energy when it is accelerated. This is unlimited if it is continuously accelerated. What is meant here is inertia with inertial energy. That is, the body is constantly being accelerated. We have seen that when inertia is able to operate at a distance, a sovereignty system can work with inertia just as it does with gravity. So if we just accept that inertia is capable of appearing at a distance, which is actually not that difficult to accept. Because, as I said, if a body with its inertia can remain in its state without a medium, without a point of support, this means nothing other than that the inertia is capable of acting at a distance. Then the mystery of gravitation is completely solved. Gravity is actually inertia. Thank you very much for your attention. See you next time.